Hey there, you're just in time for today's Youth Month edition of Jamaica Magazine. We have a packed program for you today, and trust me, you cannot afford to miss any of it. So put your foot up, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming up next, Stephen McHugh with the news.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, November 16. The management of Flow Jamaica has agreed to seek an adjournment of its court action against the National Works Agency, NWA, and contractors working on government's road network legacy projects. The decision follows a meeting with Prime Minister Andrew Holness held on Thursday. That meeting included representatives of the NWA, China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, Attorney General Marlene Malahoo Fort, and other government officials. Flow's court action is on claims of disruption of its services to customers as a result of the ongoing works across Kingston and St. Andrew. Prime Minister Holness has instructed CHEC to send Flow a schedule indicating a notice period for excavation activities before any such work is done. Going forward, Mr. Holness is also mandating that regular meetings be held with all parties to ensure the major infrastructure development projects continue in a seamless fashion. Government will be assisting with the funeral expenses for the 3 John Rollins Success Primary School students who were killed in a motor vehicle crash on Tuesday. The crash happened along the Rose Hall Main Road in St. James, claiming the lives of 6-year-old Latisha Williams and sisters 8-year-old Tiara and 10-year-old Tiana Thompson. The driver of the vehicle in which they were traveling also died in the crash, while 2 other students of the school remain hospitalized. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid visited the school on Thursday, announcing that his and the Labor and Social Security ministries would be partnering to offer support. While addressing the post-cabinet media briefing earlier this week, Minister Reid expressed condolence on behalf of the government and appealed for discipline on the roads.
We have precious lives, our own lives and the lives of children and other persons that we are carrying. If we all be very disciplined, we organize ourselves properly so we don't have to be speeding, so we manage our time, so we start out early so we can get to our destinations on a timely basis. I think that will help. And we're going to appeal to the police to be out there as they have been doing. And again, condolences to the families, to the student body, and all the friends and relatives of the deceased.
Transport Minister Robert Montague says there will be no extension beyond the November 30 deadline to submit applications for road licenses under the Public Transport Liberalization Pilot. Minister Montague made this disclosure on Wednesday at the third in a series of public consultations on the 16-point transportation reform proposal.
We have opened up until the 30th of November. And we are saying if you know of persons, whether in your church, whether in your Kiwanis Club, whether in your Rotary Club, whether in the Citizens Association, who are operating illegally, now is the time to encourage them to apply for their license.
To date, the Transport Authority has received approximately 5,000 applications for road licenses. Minister Montague says each applicant must have a certified vehicle, insurance, and police record. Government has renovated another public beach to provide locals with access to a quality recreational facility. The licensed beach in eastern St. Thomas was officially reopened yesterday by Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett. The beach was rehabilitated at a cost of over $49 million by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Licensed Beach is the 4th facility to be upgraded as part of government's plan to rehabilitate 10 such public facilities this year.
This investment is first for the residents who live here, the people of License and St. Thomas. And then, of course, it will serve all of us, not just in the parish.
The beach now comes with a variety of amenities, including 5 gazebos, a footbridge, sanitary conveniences, parking area, lifeguard stands, guardhouse, and seating areas. Cabinet has awarded 2 contracts to improve the operations of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. J.R. Wellington Import-Export Corporation is to supply and deliver 4 pumper trucks at a cost of $276.82 million Jamaican dollars. A second contract in the amount of $1.27 million has been awarded to Bell Safety Limited for the supply of firefighters' protective clothing and self-contained breathing apparatus.
And these include the following: 350 firefighters' protective clothing in an amount of US $833,037.33, and 99 self-contained breathing apparatus in a sum of US $437,165.78.
The Information Minister made the announcements during this week's post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
We really want all of you to start thinking about how are you going to level up this November. And level up for us starts with self. So it's really a call to action for you to look at yourself and to see what can you do better, what more can you give, what more do you want to be. So we want all of you to use Youth Month to recommit, to do more, to do better, to go harder. But not just for self, but for communities. Because we believe that young people can change communities. But more than that, level up in your own lives so that we can level up Jamaica. Level, level, level up.
Youth, level up. That means you must never settle for mediocrity or give up on your goals. Endeavor to try new things, build on your skills and talents, and do your best always. Up next, a practical example. Here's the story of how one young man made the most of an opportunity, and now he's the better for it.
I was yearning for success so much that it brought me to the wrong route. I was actually incarcerated because of my actions, and that is where I got into sewing, because I had to do something to make up for the time and to keep myself active. So this program, I heard about it as soon as I was released in May 13. So it was my ray of hope. This is my change. This is my way forward. So I come with all zeal and tenacity to go forward.
Cressy Ray is just one of the thousands of Jamaican young people whose lives are being transformed because of their engagement in the Prime Minister's Housing Opportunity, Production and Employment Hope program.
The HOPE program is about engaging with the youth of Jamaica in a meaningful way. To give them, so it is mainly a training and apprenticeship program, if I can summarize that in a nutshell. It involves engaging young persons through, firstly, values and attitudes, or what I call core skills training. Then it gets into a skills training, a very basic skills training, and then get them to serve as an apprentice for up to 1 year, honing the skills that they would have learned.
And that is exactly the course taken by the Hope Garment Construction Corps at the Heart Trust NTA Garmix Academy.
The first phase was 2 weeks of what is called core skills training. Basically life skills training, different areas where they were taught life coping skills, punctuality, how to dress for work, how to manage their emotions, things like that.
I deserve the best things that life has to offer.
They were taken into the machine operating training, where the 100 were placed in 4 groups of 25 with 4 instructors learning to sew. The final phase will be going into production, where they will actually start making the shirts for the other persons. And you will see from the display we have over here that they're actually making shirts now.
Yes, you heard right. These students are actually making shirts for the over 15,000 participants of the HOPE program.
When we started the program, the intent was to have everybody be in receipt of a shirt, Oxford type shirt, that would be to help to promote the good working ethics, including their own dress and deportment. To purchase shirts outright and to have them branded, the cost was really far too prohibitive in order to kit out the vast numbers that we're hoping to reach on the program. Then there was a suggestion to speak to Hart Garments Academy, and I found out that they had this massive facility with over 100 machines, which were generally being underutilized at the time.
Now these young garment makers are learning much more than stitching shirts for fellow HOPE participants.
I'm enjoying it right now because I can make my own shirt, skirt, and now I'm dropping to make my own dress.
It is very enlightening, astounding. I didn't know it was so meticulous to make even a simple dress. You know, we look at it as just two pieces of fabric, but when you get down to the nitty and gritty, it has so many different calculations, but it's something I love.
Because the clothes wasn't working out for me, I tried to do jewelry making. It's going great so far because I can make my own jewelry, I can produce it, I can have my own store and selling them.
The length is from the waist to the ground.
And none of this would be possible without the team of hard-working instructors on hand.
At first, I didn't know anything about sewing. Then, basically, getting the steps from our instructors, and they're teaching us step by step, so you get everything and understand. And at this stage where I'm at, I'm proud of myself, because if I didn't came here, I wouldn't know to do nothing at all.
The teachers, trust me, they work hard. It's not easy dealing with us as young adults, so they work hard. And what I love about them, it's not just about passing for them. It is about sitting down with the person, making sure they understand. So I give the teachers 2 thumbs up.
They help me a lot because I give them most of them problem. And there is not an instructor here who don't know me. Because I walk around and I ask questions, how to do my shirt, and they all helped me. It don't make no sense to stay home and sit down and I look for somebody to give something when you can come out, learn a skill, and can do something for yourself.
It doesn't matter what background you're from or where you're from. Just come with an open mind and willing to learn. And once you're willing, you'll go a long way because there's hope for you.
For more information on the Garment Construction Corps or the HOPE program, call or visit a National Youth Service or Heart Trust NTA office. Toll free 1-888-432-7868 or email info@heart-nta.org.
Stand up and get in the race.
I can become the master of my destiny.
Step up your stride, make we work like a harder. Do it like Veronica, Bolt and a Sapa.
We can rise above the challenges and shine.
Was with passion in your heart. Make a plan and stop all the hiking. You think that's so? We reach a the aging. I can, you can. Like our Olympians, every Jamaican can.
Sometimes all we need as human beings to achieve our maximum potential is a strong support system, such as parents who are willing to go the extra mile to seek avenues and opportunities for their children to succeed. Watch this.
Nearly 10 years ago, Aaron Nation was in a predicament. He had 3 daughters in school for whom he had big dreams, but very little means to make them a reality. As a security guard, he was earning a minimum wage, and his wife was unable to work due to an illness. Even sending his girls to school and providing for his family's basic needs was a challenge. What was he to do? The answer came from a colleague.
I was introduced by one of my co-workers one night while we was at work, and she was telling me how she benefit with her 3 children. So I found it interesting, so the very next day I went to the office and applied, and they gave me a form and complete the form and take it back to the office with information on it. And then after that, one of the social workers visited the house to confirm the information that was given on the paper. And then I was being informed that I was being enrolled on the program.
What Aaron's co-worker introduced him to was the Program of Advancement Through Health and Education, PATH. It's a cash transfer program funded by the Government of Jamaica and the World Bank. Since 2002, PATH has been offering assistance to thousands of parents like Aaron.
It helped my children them throughout school, especially the lunch program was good for me, because all I need to give them was $300 each day to pay their fare and $100 to buy a drinks because they get a meal every day.
With the monthly stipend PATH offered, plus the meals provided under the school feeding program, Aaron was empowered to ensure his girls never missed a day of school. He was finally able to put them on track for the bright future he dreamed of.
Compliance in attending school is a requirement of the PATH program. So if you do not attend school every day, the benefits are cut. You can lose them if the children are not attending school. So I believe that that is one positive contribution that it has made, where besides giving the assistance, that it has said that there must be compliance in school attendance.
Aaron's eldest daughter, Nicole, is grateful for PATH's support. She credits it with putting her well on the path to fulfilling her dreams of being a medical doctor. She's now an intern at the Spanish Town Hospital.
I began the PATH program when I was at Montego Bay Community College. I was just starting college, and so my father received the monthly stipend to assist our household. The PATH program became a more fundamental part of my educational journey when during my last year of medical school, I received a grant of $100,000 to help finance my tuition.
Nicole's sister Marielle, who is now a trained teacher, also got help from PATH towards her tertiary education.
As soon as she was 18 years old, I went back to the office, complete the forms. They gave me a grant of $50,000, so I used it to help pay the school fee at Sam Sharp Teachers College. And then in the final year, I saw one day in the newspaper when it came out that final year student would be granted $100,000. So I have 2 children who was on their final year.
Now, only one of the nation's sisters remains on the program at the secondary level. Just like the nation's sisters, PATH has enabled many students to shine from the primary to tertiary levels.
PATH students have excelled. There's a youth ambassador program in the PATH program, and 16 persons were awarded at a function we had recently, the Mona Visitors Lodge. And in those 16 youth ambassadors, I mean, that's such a positive story. There was one medical doctor, there was an attorney, linguists, teachers, persons who have truly excelled and who can speak of the benefits of the PATH program.
Nicole was one of those bestowed the prestigious title of Youth Ambassador.
Being a youth ambassador, it is a privilege, it is an honor. I view it as a critical role, especially in helping to move Jamaica forward. We are an inspiration, we are motivation. We're there to drive students and say, hey, you can achieve not just a high school education, but also a tertiary education. We will be going to visit schools, we'll be on the devotionals, we'll be encouraging students. Take the money, take the lunches, take whatever PATH provides for you and make it your own. Do your best in school, get an education, and the sky is the limit.
In addition to providing a monthly stipend, feeding young beneficiaries and providing school grants, PATH provides several other benefits for students and their parents.
We have the Steps to Work program, which is a program that allows the parents of the children to become gainfully engaged, whether in shops, setting up shops, rearing pigs, rearing chickens, so that they in time can come off. It's the graduation strategy to get people off of PATH, because of course you don't want people to remain on PATH for the rest of their lives.
Students also receive money for transportation to school, and those at the secondary level are able to sit 5 CSEC subjects free of cost, enabling them to meet the minimum qualifications for acceptance to university. And there are plans on the horizon for the monthly family stipend.
We have been looking at, and it's going to come through, increasing the benefits that we pay.
I would encourage any parents to try and don't let it go by, because it's a good program and it can really assist you through education. So if you're really serious about education, please stick to the thing, because it can work, because it works well for me. Not just well, but very, very well.
In addition to students, PATH beneficiaries include persons 60 years and over who don't receive a pension, persons with disabilities, pregnant and lactating women, and poor adults 18 to 59 years of age. If you need more information on the PATH program, contact the Ministry of Labour and Social Security at 922-9500-14 or visit their website mlss.gov.jm.
Our children are different. All of them require patience, love, understanding, right? And for us during Child Month, where the theme is Affirm Me, that's what we want to remind all adults, that every child is our child, and we must see how we can give them that love, that patience, that understanding, so that they can become their best self. It's now Parent Month, but a lot of the difficulty we have in the protection of our children goes back to parenting and the sort of relationships that parents and their children have, and whether our parents are taking their roles in relation to protecting their children, affirming their children, whether that is being taken seriously enough. So our Child Protection and Family Services Agency, working with the National Parenting Support Commission, is going to ramp up our communication strategies in relation to our parents to be more proactive in the protection of their children.
We are children and we have rights. We have a right to be
protected,
provided for,
and included. Don't beat me up, don't belittle me, and please don't molest me.
I am under 13. I should not be working for a living.
That is child labor. It is illegal.
Stop leaving me alone. I am too young to provide for myself. I need your guidance.
Protect our nation's children. They have rights too. To learn more about children's rights, call or visit the offices of the Child Development Agency.
Boys are often depicted as rude, rough, and strong, while their female counterparts, the complete opposite. But steps are being taken right here in Jamaica to change that age-old cliché. Watch now as boys from the Independent City Primary School in Portmore are taught fine dining and social graces. The tables were meticulously set. And in no time, all was ready for the special occasion.
We're having a fine dining luncheon for our boys today, and different speakers will be coming in to address our boys as it relates to fine dining and changing the culture that now exists in our country. The little crudeness and so on, we're trying to ensure that our boys be nicer to our females, to their peers, and by extension, just embracing our country and the aesthetics that we have here.
The Boys' Day event, which was held in Portmore Heart Academy Auditorium, employed practical demonstrations and instructions to teach the boys proper dining skills and social graces. The first lesson of the day was to teach them how to properly use their napkins.
And you place it in your lap.
After the boys mastered this art, they learned how to properly eat their appetizers, which consisted of a warm bowl of soup and a side of roll.
You take your roll up and you break off a bite-sized piece. With one finger, one hand, that's what you eat. You put back the rest on your tray and you eat just what you break off. With me, you never bite the roll, okay? And you drink your soup from the side of your spoon.
And before long, these boys got the hang of it. Some were so good that they were correcting their peers. After a sumptuous appetizer, the boys were treated with a mouth-watering main course meal, and boy were they pleased.
You use your left hand with the fork and your right hand with the knife. The fork alone is to go to your mouth, the knife will not go to your mouth.
So what was the reason for hosting such an unforgettable event for the young men in training?
It's really about that as much as we spend time with the girls, we want to equally develop the boys, because research suggests that the boys move at a little slower pace at this age, so we want to ensure that we give them equal opportunity.
I hope that other schools will emulate, will copy, to ensure that our boys are exposed. We don't box them in at school every day, but we showcase them and let them realize that there are different places, and when you go to different places, you behave different ways.
And the effort and hard work of the school did not go unnoticed.
We feel like it's the best day, the best Boys' Day, because how they prepare it, how it looks, where it's held.
And just like that, we have arrived at the last page of today's magazine. But don't worry, you can turn the pages with us again tomorrow and every day after. While you wait, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for our daily video uploads. You may also follow us on all our social media sites for the latest news and information. I'm Audrey Williams, reminding you to level up.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.